I'm just going to have a quick run through here for you to demonstrate just one method of making a CD clock. On the table here in front of me you see everything you need. First of all, the printed disc, which if you've got a printer that will print directly onto the disc, that's fine, excellent, best way to do it. However, you can buy labels which you print off in your inkjet printer and you then stick to the disc. Don't particularly like that method because on repeated use in a CD player the label can come adrift and can do damage to your CD player. So if you can print on the disc, that's the way to go. So you've got your disc, a clock movement, a set of hands, a Perspex spacer disc, a rubber gripper ring and a brass central locking nut. The only real tools you need to construct a clock is a small pair of pliers like this, flat-headed. They're much easier to use and don't damage the clock in any way, shape or form if you're careful. You have to be careful with all tools. That's the best one I find for locking central brass nut. There's two basic types of stand that you can use for your clocks. There's this one, it's a folding plastic or Perspex construction, anything you want to put in it really. Or there's this type. They're not unique or complete with this collection. There are other manufacturers who make completely different stands. You can get these in various colours. Now this Perspex stand is ideal when you want to make the clock just sit on a surface like the bedside table or something like that, and it fits onto the clock movement in the back here. The problem being with this type of stand is once it's fitted onto the clock and then the disc is applied, it's permanent. And if you then wanted to hang it using the inbuilt wall hanger, you would have to somehow cut that off at the base. So if you just want to wall mount the clock, don't put a base on it. Okay. High quality quartz movement, they're not very expensive. This, you can pick them up in model shops at about £1, £1.50, something like that. If you buy them in bulk, of course, you're going to get them cheaper. The next thing you need is the rubber gripper ring. This is the rubber gripper ring. It's got a knurled surface which grips the CD disc and a smooth surface which goes to the back of the clock, like so. You then have a Perspex ring. In this case it's clear. You can get them coloured in various colours should you require them. Place the CD disc on. Now in this particular instance the clock doesn't have any numerals. It's an astrology clock, so it doesn't really matter where the 12 o'clock position is or anything. Next to go on is the Perspex rubber ring. This is reducing the size of the central hole here. Now you can place on your brass locking washer. Now this can on. You can use your flat-headed pliers. Now then, centralise your nut, make sure it's dead in the centre. Once you're happy with that position, tighten, and there's really your clock ready to be. Now when you're applying the hands, in this particular case because it has no numerals, to find where the 12 o'clock position is, and that is on the top of the wall hanger here. The first hand to go on is the hour hand. Hour hand at 12 o'clock, press firmly. Minute hand on at 12 o'clock, press firmly. The second hand. Now a word of warning here with the second hand. Once you've placed that second hand into the central spindle and pressed it in firmly, it's there for the life of the clock. You cannot remove it. If you do, the central spindle in the middle of the clock will come out, the clock will be ruined, just throw it away. So only put the second hand on when you're absolutely sure everything's okay and it's ready to complete. This is a finished clock. You see the batteries in its casing at the back, wall hanging, second hand rotating nicely. Now some people don't like a second hand, particularly if there's small children about, because children love playing with the second hand. So I'm just going to show you a tip that you can use if you don't want the second hand on. Being that if you don't want the second hand on, it will leave this hole in the middle of the hands and doesn't look very attractive. So here's what to do. So here is what you could do. You'll see that on your second hand it has a little spindle socket here that clips on to the central spindle. Once it's on for good. But you don't want to have this ugly looking hole in the centre of the clock. So all you have to do, press home, all you have to do then is to apply the centrepiece of the second hand into the centre of the clock, which will cover that hole up and make it look quite attractive. These are the sort of things you can do with your clocks.